Thank you for joining us on this first edition of Capital Market in December. I'm Temple Ashaju. Now, this week saw the successful hosting of the African Securities Exchanges Association conference in the Nigerian capital market, and it was a well-attended program as delegates had the opportunity to brainstorm on several issues bordering on the development of the securities market in this continent, Africa. Delegates in sessions after sessions also looked at topics such as green financing, business models, African capital markets in the era of customer centricity. Cloud banking was also one of the key areas of focus, as well as technology, with specific attention on fintech in the fourth industrial revolution. Among other matters discussed, attendees examined how to galvanize domestic finance for the Sustainable Development Goals, which is the SDGs in Africa, and of course how to drive Africa's real economy with innovative solutions, and how to facilitate affordable housing in sub-Saharan Africa with the capital market, and of course a whole lot of instruments that can be made available. That is one of the key areas that we will be bringing you this evening on the show. Meantime, let's look at how the local market settled for this week. And of course, we'll start with the equities market, where equities booked another week of loss, with the NSE All-Share Index declining by some 2.54% week on week to 30,874.17 points. And the market capitalization shed some 293.7 billion naira over the week. Now, this loss we're talking about was driven by declines in bellwether stocks in the banking firms, banking names. You have FBN Holdings, which lost some 6.58%. Guarantee Trust Bank declined by some 5.63%. Stanbic IBTC, for example, shed some 2.04%. In terms of its share price. UBA was down 3.85%, and Zenith Bank 3.33% loss was what these banking names, which are the major peaks, the usual peaks in the market, experienced. You have got Dangote Cement and of course Lafarge, and both from the industrial goods sector, declining by 4.15%, and of course Lafarge by 7.14% respectively. Oil and gas, Seplat shed almost 10% in its share price. This was a whole lot of bloodletting, as we saw top declines during the week in Diamond Bank, which shed some 31.58%, and Prestige Insurance down some 30.38%. Unity Bank lost 18.82%. These were the major losses that we saw in the market this period. But if you look at how this translates to the performance sectorally, you got the industrial goods sector at 1,244.53. This is an indices that used to be higher than this, shedding some 3.36%. Oil and gas down 5.12%. You got the consumer goods sector trying to keep its head above the waters by some 0.08%, and insurance goods sector positive by 4.71%. But you have the banking sector down by almost 3% this week. Now let's move on to the fixed income market, which is of course another market in the Nigerian system. Here you've got the fixed income market activities at the long end of the curve was largely quiet on most of the trading days this week, leaving the bond yields relatively flattish. However, following some higher stop rates at Thursday's open market operations auction, bond yields rose by 1 basis point week on week to 15.36%. For the numbers you've got yesterday, Friday, the 30th of November, you got April 2037. Yesterday, you got transactions there. We had transactions on March 2037, the 17th of March 2027 specifically, and of course the 23rd of February 2028, which is one of the major securities in the market, priced as at yesterday at 91 naira 30 kobo. In total, you got 42 deals, and of course a value of 13.03 billion naira yesterday in the market. For treasury bills, yesterday you got the numbers 28th of November 2019, December 2018, and of course January 2019, the 31st of January 2019. All at the short end of the curve was where you had more interest yesterday. You got deals at 27, and total value was 110.20 billion naira. If we move on to the unlisted securities markets, we'll see where the USI was also down by some 2.96%. You got the USI settling at 709.84 with a market capitalization of just 490.4 billion naira. Volume yesterday, for the week was put at 93.30 million, and that's valued at 93.3 million naira. All of that took place in just 51 deals. In terms of the volume shockers that we had for this week, we've got Firstland Campina Wamco, you got CSCS, and of course Ensure PLC. Now let's move on to our major focus. As we said earlier, our focus this evening will be on the sessions of the just concluded African Securities Exchanges Association, where we saw delegates focusing on a whole lot of topics there. But in terms of the one that was mainly of interest to us, we had this session on how to finance affordable housing in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa specifically, and that's we saw the delegates on the panel discussion focusing mainly on the examples of Nigeria, where you've seen some $20 million that is supposed to be raised in guarantee for the development of the mortgage markets here. Let's listen to that session.
Sometime in 2014, the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company was established. It's a member user facility, meaning that only member mortgage banks can access funds that are deployed by this entity. It's innovative because the NMLC actually taps the capital market to raise long-term funds and deploy same towards the mortgage banks. It does this as part of its refinancing operations. So it refinances the existing mortgage loan portfolio in the books of the mortgage bank to the extent that these loan assets are performing and are eligible based on its underwriting standards. As at today, NMLC has issued two bonds to the tune of $50 million. And the interesting part of it is that the bonds are fully guaranteed by the federal government, so they are AAA rated. And it means that these bonds are thinly priced.